Welcome to the AM News Bulletin on the AM Show. The AM Show is sponsored by Waylead Properties. Now the news in detail. Government is scrambling to avert a looming power crisis as fuel to keep the nation's power plants running is set to run out in 48 hours. 2 weeks ago, he warned of the danger. Today, the alarm bells are louder and the debts deeper. We'll tell you more in this report.
Weeks ago, Energy Minister John Jinapor told Joy News that Car Power was threatening to shut down their plants over unpaid bills.
I received a letter from Car Power. They are threatening to shut the plant in 7 days.
Why?
Unpaid bills that we inherited. We've been trying every way we can to engage them so that they will give us some briefing space. But they simply will not budge.
Now, he says the sector is days away from darkness with only 2 days of fuel left in stock.
Frank with you, Chairman, today as I sit here, this morning my headache is how to get the next parcel of liquid fuel. The fuel we have to take us 2.6 days. We've placed order for fuel, but it has to be paid. We've procured some fuel on credit and working with the Ministry of Finance to pay. But the truth is that the Ministry of Finance also has its limits. And so we'll be going to Cabinet to discuss how we can improve on the sector. And that is why we are pushing for some private sector participation in ECG's operations.
Ghana's energy sector is now on life support. The sector minister, John Jinapor, is projecting that energy sector under recoveries would hit 30 billion cedis by the end of 2025. He says government needs over $1.1 billion to keep the lights on, yet the sector rakes up to a 2 billion cedi deficit every month.
ECG is unable to collect all the monies. And so you're having a deficit of about 2 billion cedis every month when it comes to ECG's collections. When you add that deficit and you add the fuel, which is not part of the pass-through, you are looking at over 30 billion. Car Power has just sent us a letter that by 18th, they will shut down the plant because we owe them more than $400 million. IPPs alone, we owe them $1.7 billion.
It gets worse. The World Bank's $500 million guarantee has already been drawn down, with only $50 billion left. The government is now using oil meant for national revenue to pay off energy debts. But the ranking member on Parliament's Energy Committee, George Kwame Abuaji, says some big businesses are to be blamed for defaulting on their power bills, while the country sinks further into debt.
Most of our companies in this country, a lot of them, they don't pay electricity bills. A lot don't pay. And transmission losses also is another factor, which the minister has to look at it. We are currently at around 29 to 30% transmission losses, whereby the OECD or the international sectors, their transmission losses is around 8 to 9%.
With a couple of days of fuel left and no clear financing solution, the sector minister is set to make a last-ditch effort to secure funds from Cabinet to avoid a national power shutdown. The clock is ticking away.
Former Deputy Finance Minister and Member of Parliament for Inshaiso, Dr. Stephen Amwa, says combating the illegal mining menace will require a shift in the Ghanaians' attitude to actively support the government's efforts. According to the legislator, the fight against Galamsey is not solely the responsibility of the government, but requires collective action from all citizens. Dr. Amwa's appeal comes amid growing concerns over the environmental degradation caused by illegal mining activities. He spoke at the Leadership Conclave event held at the Christian Service University in Kumasi.
The Leadership Conclave event held at the Christian Service University was under the theme Building the Ghana We Want, the role of students. The event was to ensure that students take part in policy making in the country through consistent advocacy. Guest Speaker and Member of Parliament for the Inshaiso constituency, Dr. Stephen Amwa, highlighted the various interventions by successive governments, including military crackdowns and stricter penalties against illegal mining, but observed enforcement remains weak. He called for a change in attitude among Ghanaians in support of government's quest to fight the menace.
President also batu galamsey. I don't think President Mahama anybody just see a base issue. And Nanado anybody see a base issue. Nanado Ben or Fasoja for
President Akufo-Addo put his presidency on the line. President John Mahama can also do so much. But with the illegal mining menace, we have to have a change of attitude for us to be able to combat it. It is a difficult fight and it cannot be done alone by government.
Let's be real. If you have a man to her, so if you want to build your country, you as an individual, first ability, knowledge, skill, dexterity, what you can use your hand for, your mind, your brains.
Richard Owusu is SRC president of Christian Service University. He says the leadership conclave event is to instill the desire for quality leadership in students.
So the leadership conclave is a well thought through program that in my tenure as the president I had wanted a lot more people, young people for that matter, to have an interest in leadership. What we see in our country now, especially in the universities now, especially those of us in the private universities, our people don't really have an interest in leadership, which we feel is a bit of not too good for us. And so we have decided to change that notion. So what we have decided to do is to organize something like this. So the leadership conclave ultimately will, we expect that at the end of the program, a lot more people will have the interest in vying for leadership position, taking interest in the leadership of our country for that matter. So we expect that at the end of this program, by 2-3 years, a lot more people from this university will have an interest in leadership, in student leadership, in national leadership as a whole, so that we too can contribute our quota to the development of the country.
Richard added that young persons must be well trained to participate in national development.
I think there's been a perception, I don't know if I would say it's a misconception or something, but there is a perception that those at the top are not making way for those down here. And so people feel that there are some big men and women up there who are not creating a way for them. The pathway is not clear enough for them to also come through. So most of the time they just look up to those up there and they withdraw their love for leadership. But I believe that, and we believe that, if we are able to train more people, mentor more people, and give them the way, they will also be able to contribute their quota to the development of the country.
For Joy News, Nana Bochidankwe-Yadom, Kumasi.
Now, the Bui Power Authority has started compensating 34 affected landowners, farmers and tree owners whose lands were impacted by the Yendi Solar Power Project. 16 individuals have received their payments so far. The total compensation package amounts to approximately 1,518,158.15 Ghana cedis, Yendi Solar Project. And Bui Power Authority started disbursement of compensation to landowners. We'll tell you more in this report.
34 people were affected during the establishment of the solar farm. There's call for some compensation to be paid to the affected people. Speaking at the first phase of the disbursement, the Director of Natural Resources at Bui Power, Wumbila Salifu, who represented the Acting Chief Executive, explained to the media the processes that led to the compensation being paid.
We engaged a valuer to carry out an assessment for crops, properties, and economic trees within the right-of-way. The assessment was successfully completed, and today we assessed the amount about 1.3 million Ghana cedi. That includes the crops, economic trees, building plots, and properties that were captured within the right-of-way. Crops, economic trees have been duly paid for. The second phase is to pay for people who had building plots, houses and properties within the right-of-way, and that will be done in due course. The check value varies from, some are taking 6,000, others took as much as 481,000, and the amount of money you get is dependent on what the valuer saw on the land at the time of the assessment.
Some concerns were raised by some of the affected individuals. Responding, Mr. Wumbila assured that they will engage with the chief to address these issues and reach an agreement.
The objections being raised, ordinarily it should be based on something. The assessment was based on a certain approved rate. What we intend to do is we have a good working relationship with the chiefs and the people here. We intend to sit with them and have some discussions and agree on the way forward.
Municipal Head of Works at the Yendi Municipal Assembly, Edward Okata, urged them to respect the facilities boundaries now that compensations has been paid.
Let's see these projects as something very important, and we all put our hands together and protect the facilities, than rather after here we go and encroach it. We pray that we should not go back again to farm there, to live, trying to put up structures again there, which will distort or worry the decision taken by the authorities.
Some of the beneficiaries said even though they were expecting more, they are grateful for what they have received.
I'm not all that excited because what I was expecting to be given, the amount is not up to expected, but it's somehow closer to what I was expecting to get.
I'm expecting somewhere at least I should expect at least 15,000 per plot. So the 2 plots should sum up to at least 30,000.
Let's go to one now, because the Municipal Chief Executive, Alhaji Issa Nura Dawunar, says his topmost priority is to execute the Wa Ring Road project. The project aims to create a bypass for heavy-duty trucks bound for neighboring West African countries to help reduce accident and ease traffic congestion in the heart of the municipality. In an exclusive interview with Joy News, Alhaji Danwana also revealed plans to decongest the Central Business District. And our Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent, Rafiq Salam, reports from Wa.
The Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Alhaji Issa Nura Danwana, face opened up on the Wa Ring Road project.
You know that we have several and so many obstructions and accidents in town here by these Burkina-based vehicles that pass through the main town, causing traffic and then causing accidents. So our main wish or program we want to outline is to try and get the Wa Ring Road project, where these vehicles will always bypass the Wa towards Burkina Faso. And you know, this is the shortest place to Burkina Faso. So most of the vehicles now pass through town. So we'll be working on the Wa Ring Road project.
Next was the decongestion of the Central Business District.
Our CBD, that's the Central Business District, is very congested, seriously congested. So we intend to also create satellite markets that most people would rather prefer to be at those particular markets instead of coming to the main markets. Our town here is not also having car parks, so we are trying very hard to see how best we can bring in private investors and people who will be willing to give out their lands for car parking. We're also looking at redesigning some portions of the market to be able to accommodate more people, so that if it is accommodating about 1,000 people now, we can do the same place. We can multiply to accommodate about 3,000 people. That is as part of the congestion process. We'll also be moving some other people. I don't want to mention it here, because if you do, they will start fighting you. We'll be moving some other people from the market to different locations where we'll now create more space for some other people.
What about the sanitation challenge the municipality is facing?
A serious case we are currently tackling, because the containers that has been in the system has been destroyed, some not being properly managed. So we want to see how best we can tackle waste management in the municipality. It's one of our key areas we'll be doing.
He then zeroed in on education.
So many school blocks that are seriously dilapidated, that has not seen renovation for over 50 years. Especially if you go to the cattle school, Karantara, you don't even believe that people are studying in that environment. You go to Tendamba school, the same thing. You go to Fongo, LA, the same thing. Most of the schools. So we'll be looking at how we can renovate these schools and see how best we can also provide some of these schools with new classroom structures. Furniture is another very serious issue in these particular schools. So we want to see how best as a municipal assembly will tackle these issues to make sure that we have enough school desks for our classrooms.
The Wa Mayor also spoke about stray animals.
It's a very serious worry. We'll tackle that today. I even had a discussion with my environmental department. We'll be handling that very soon. What we'll do that we are looking for a space where we can always do this animal arrest in court, so that we'll just go in and pick them and then dump them there until they come. It is one of the assembled bylaws that we are entitled to. And next time maybe we'll arrange or make it in such a way that if you commit that crime severally, or if you allow the animals to stray severally, then we'll know the next step to take.
Does Alhaji Isa Danwana has any plan regarding upping the ante on revenue generation in the municipality?
And I've seen the leakages. Sometimes you raise the issues and they will not want to listen to you. And just as you said, I'm on the seat now. And knowing those leakages, I'll ensure that we cross all those leakages. You know, their system in such a way that you know that when you are trying to fight corruption, corruption will always find ways of fighting you. So I will not disclose most of the measures we will put in place to stop those leakages. But I'm assuring you that we'll do that to improve upon the revenue.
He concluded with his vision for the municipality.
I want to see a very beautiful municipal or metropolitan assemblies to be. I want to ensure that our people are safe in terms of security. I want to ensure that our people's poverty is reduced. I want to ensure that we have good health care, we have quality education, we have a good environment for our people to study. And I want to say that I need the cooperation of all in the municipality to be able to achieve these objectives.
Reporting for Dwayne News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Well, from WA, let's move on. And the Vice-Chancellor of Dr. Heman Technical University, Professor Elias N.K. Sowley, has expressed concern over the lack of hostel facilities at the institution, saying it is hindering effective academic work. The university is currently the only technical university in the country without a single hostel facility. As a result, students live off campus and commute daily for all academic activities. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony for the first phase of the 552-bed hostel, an initiative by the Student Representative Council, Professor Sowley called on worker unions, government and private institutions to partner with the university to address the accommodation challenges. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, again from WA.
Before its conversion from Polytechnic to a technical university, it was the only one among its peers in the country without a hostel for its students. Almost 5 years after the conversion, the Dr. Heman Technical University still grapples with same accommodation challenges for its students. A hostel facility project that was started close to 2 decades ago has stalled, abandoned by the contractor, and now overtaken by weeds. Another attempt by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to construct a 450-bed hostel was also flamed out after the project was awarded to a contractor through sole sourcing, who later pulled out. Speaking at a groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a hostel facility for the university by the Students Representative Council, Vice Chancellor Professor Elias N.K. Sowley lamented about the lack of hostel facilities for the university, which is impeding its progress.
Well, to be very frank, it's not the best, and you don't feel good when you go around and you can see what is happening on other campuses. Because once we get a hostel that generates funds, we can use it to improve the infrastructure. If we have hostels running and you are generating money, the banks can give you loans to do other projects. And in fact, the very reason some of the institutions don't want to commit is because of low numbers. Because, again, as I said, people cannot see that as physical. But I've engaged a lot of financial institutions, and some of them have come in here to engage with us, to hold discussions. But they have one question they always ask. And the moment they ask that question, I know they will not come back.
Yarbo spoke of plans by the government to construct a 600-bed hostel for the university, whilst commending the SRC of the university for the initiative, urged worker unions and institutions to partner the university to help fix the accommodation challenges.
The university has a lot of land for the projects, and if organizations or individuals are ready to partner us, we could do so on either a public-private partnership or build-operate transfer arrangements. Or indeed, if they want to even make donations so that the projects are named after them, we are ready to do that.
The SRC president of the university, Zakaria Yukubu, stated that the initiative to construct the 552 capacity bed hostel spans a term of 5 SRC presidents, pledging that they will do everything within their means to ensure that the project comes to fruition.
For the entire hostel project, we have about, it is what we call 552 bed capacity. But for the first phase, we have about 152 bed capacity that we are going to start with. Very soon, we are going to ensure that we start work and we do what we can do. We had the seed capital. We must admit also that we do not have all the capital, because this is an SIC of an institution that have low numbers that we all know. So as a result of that, we do not have all the capital, but at least there's a seed capital that we can begin with. So we want to use this opportunity to call on corporate Ghana to assist us as being the only technical institution in the country without a hostel. It's very saddening, and it is not doing any good to the student. I mean, talk about the fact that students do not have hostel, how the campus life to experience. Talk about the fact that this issue of not having hostel has actually made our numbers to always be at low at all time. All of these are challenges that are affecting the students, and that we think it is our paramount need, and we think we have to begin it.
Reporting for J News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
That takes us to our business update now with Benjamin Akakpo.
Welcome aboard our business updates. Let's start with our currency market for today. Let's get into our stories now. And the Bank of Ghana has given the firm assurance that it remains committed to rolling out the required measures aimed at stabilizing the city. It argues that this might be one of the surest ways of aiding compliance with foreign exchange regulations. First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Mumuni Zakari, spoke on PM Express Business Edition.
Key thing, fundamental, is to ensure we have stability. And when you have stability, all of these other peripheral, challenges you have will be minimized. You perhaps will not be able to eliminate them completely, but they will definitely be minimized. And that is only when you are able to, maintain durable stability. Yes.
You think that for you, the most important thing is stabilize the local currency, ensure confidence in the local currency, all the other things will fall in place?
Precisely the point I am making. Just this week, Governor was sharing an experience with us when somebody was going to buy, a vehicle and went with dollar bills to buy it. And then the vehicle, seller said they didn't want, he should come and pay them in cedis. He went to the Forex Bureau to ask that they change this Forex into cedis for him. And when he got the rate they were giving him, because they were also expecting the rate to still fall, was so low that, this
needs
person...
more dollars to still get that same quantity of cedis.
Precisely.
Now, commercial banks are urging foreign currency depositors to remain calm, insisting they are committed to facilitating legitimate withdrawals. This was contained in a statement issued by the Ghana Association of Banks after the Bank of Ghana came out to dissociate itself from comments made by one of its board members, Isaac Adongo. Here is Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa.
In the morning, we observed some unusual movement, which we attribute to some actions being taken by customers in response to the media interview that was granted by the Honorable MP and the board member of Bank of Ghana. So we had to, on the back of Bank of Ghana's press release, we had to also issue a statement to reassure customers that they have nothing to fear. If you have a legitimate transaction that you need foreign currency to execute, the bank stand ready to support you.
Well, from our stories, let's get into our commodities market. It's a wrap. Today, it's a fugu as far as the business updates are concerned because of how I am God. Handing over the baton back to Sweetie Abochi.
And that actually wraps up the AM News Bulletin on the AM show. Stick and stay. The news review is up next.